Hi, baby.
Hi, Mama. I miss you so much.
I miss you too. What's going on?
I'm just getting off work right now, enjoying this calm collectively. But I'm good. I'm good.
Where are you
Just
working at? What are you doing?
so I work for Marriott, and I also
Okay.
work for it's like a wellness space in Long Beach.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like all that like alternative healing, mystical stuff that I'm into. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I mean, so we've been home for about a week or 8 days, and I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
like, this is a great time to like have a conversation about, what's been going on, how you're coping with, the
Mm-hmm.
captivity. I'm not sure if it's the same thing in LA.
Pause.
Um,
Recording already?
yeah.
Oh shit. The first
We've been
part.
on 1 minute and 20 seconds because you know what? That I was thinking about, I'm like, the
I
introduction
was
is pretty much everything, and I definitely want to catch that. So soon as it started ringing, I pressed record.
can you
You
put
look
the first
fine.
part? Because I can't. No, 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 no. It's because I don't think I'm supposed to say where I'm working.
Oh, okay. Wait,
Yeah.
you mean as in the hotel, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
got it, got it. Wait, did somebody flag you down?
They might with this whole Corona stuff going on.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it.
we just
Okay,
got
okay,
the
no,
letter as
okay,
far as like me.
no, okay. So with that being said, what's been going on in your state? How has it affected, your everyday life?
Beaches are closed, so that sucks for me and like everyone out here in LA. And parks are closed. Well, not necessarily closed, but if it reaches a certain capacity, then that's when like cops show up or whoever's there to like monitor the space.
Okay,
There's no traffic. Um,
which is
I
great.
which is amazing. And for me, I'm as much as I am like a realistic person,
Yeah,
I'm choosing to see this collective downtime as a positive thing, especially for big cities like LA.
yeah,
I noticed that the air is so much like more crisp, and that's
yeah.
very
It's
rare
like a
here.
calmness. Yeah, it's like a calmness
Yes, yes,
that's
and like
been has come
I
over.
hate to sound like I don't want to sound corny or whatever, but it's definitely great out here. At least that's how I'm choosing to see it.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
I'm such a homebody. I don't get out the house unless I need to
yeah,
and choose to. So,
yeah,
it's not much has changed for me. But tapping into the collective energies, I definitely
hmm,
feel that we all needed this. We all needed to really get directed to take care of the things that we needed to, and not
yeah,
just hustling and bustling most
yeah,
of the time.
yeah.
So
I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm pretty flexible and adaptable. People, I think it's a conscious thing. They say don't and you just want to do. But this time it kind of feels like different. People are actually listening, and actually taking it to kind of replenish, because we go through a whole 365 days, and by the end of the year you are literally exhausted. So it I think it's great for ladies that work every day, corporate women, and it also affords them the opportunity to stay home. Me as an entrepreneur, I'm flexible in those instances. So I'm like, it feels good not to have to go anywhere.
hmm
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So, tell the people who you are,
Okay.
tell them what you're working on, tell them about Sean Roses, tell them about how we met, and tell them about your life, briefly in New York and your transition back to LA.
Oh my God, do you want to know what's funny? Encompassing the whole New York thing. I was
Yeah.
actually thinking yesterday, like, yo, I think I'm ready to fully detach when it comes to that part of my story. Although it's such a cornerstone of
Right.
who I am
Yeah, very
today.
personal, right.
Yeah, like it's like I was driving home and I've just, had that epiphany, like it's time to let that go, like it's time to
Right.
detach, it's time to really leave it where it was and where it ended, and just take what I was meant to take
Right.
from those experiences and move forward and make sure that I multiply and I
Yeah.
share those lessons and experiences with others. But back to your questions, my name is Shar, and yeah, I'd like to consider myself as an artist, creative amongst all things.
Mm-hmm.
Very multifaceted, and I'm so proud to say that. I'm into wellness and writing and
Mm-hmm.
just making sure that I express myself through my art with
Right.
authenticity and alignment.
Right.
I met you at Cornerstone Healing, at this acupuncture practice that
Mm-hmm.
was led to by the universe to experience.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, and I think from the moment that we met, you and I just knew that there was definitely a connection there. And with you training me, and with you leaving the company before I did, I'm grateful that we kept in contact because you were definitely the spirit mother that I needed when I was in New York by myself.
Yes. Yes.
Whether it was dealing with guys, dealing with work, dealing with school, or just my well-being,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, and until this day, I'm so grateful that we kept in touch, and you were one of the first people to believe in me and really see the real me, and always reminded me
Right.
of that spark when I tend to lose it, like lose sight of it
When life
for
gets in the way.
yeah, so
No, I mean, I don't know. I know that we are just so powerful, like I always tell you. And I know that, life is just so great. And no matter what's going on, you look at it half full and you can never go wrong. Shit, man. How old are you now? 26
I'm
or
still
30?
24. I'm 24.
Oh, you're
I'm
still a
turning
baby baby.
25.
Okay, okay, okay. You're
Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
Damn
Okay.
it.
So
You okay, man. I'm
okay.
jealous now. A bitch
So
is
I'm
old, okay?
24.
Yes.
I'm 24. I'm turning 25 in May.
Yeah.
And speaking of age, I
You're
want
a
to
little
say thank
you're a
you.
little frozen, babe.
I can
can
hear
you
you just fine.
I okay, perfect. Okay.
Okay. So, like I said, speaking of age, I want to
Yeah.
say thank you again for being the person to remind me, like, yo, why are you stressing like you got four kids and you 40 something? And honestly, until this day,
Right.
that sticks with me, and I make sure I hold on to that, and I remind myself that when I get frazzled when I start thinking of, oh my God, I should be here. This is the
Right.
plan, but it doesn't look like I'm heading that way, or it
Right.
doesn't look like it's going to turn out the way that I hope for it to. And,
Hmm.
like again, I will just always remember that conversation. And when you told me, look, like, look at me, I'm like, you told me your age, and you're like,
Hmm.
I'm still figuring it out. And you'll never stop figuring it out because that's
Right.
what this life is all about. And
Yeah.
as a 24-year-old, it was like, prior to me moving to New York, life always went my way. Like I was like,
Right.
okay, I want to work here. Boom, I got the job. I
Yeah.
want to get my experience in this field. Boom, I get it. But when I was in
Right.
New York, I was like, oh shit.
Like, wait a minute, this is the opposite of what's been going on. Hold
Okay.
on now,
Wait,
okay?
I'm
Is
not
this a
in
test?
control.
Mayday, mayday.
Like, excuse me, you like, are you telling me I'm not in control? What?
Yes, which is hard for Taurus women, okay?
Okay.
Miss, I mean, it's like, and sometimes we, even when we're not in control, we still think we are. But just knowing the
Yo.
difference and knowing not to beat yourself up about it is the magic fucking remedy, okay? Because I'm thinking to myself, well,
Exactly.
I'm not rich yet,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Exactly.
it's all coming, baby. So
Okay.
so how's your family? How's your nieces and nephews, and were they affected? Are they homeschooling and stuff now?
You know what? I haven't really caught up with my sister, but I know
Okay.
that, like, little they are in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and they seem to be doing just fine, just taking advantage of this downtime from when I
Okay.
last spoke to her.
Okay.
My family out here in LA, like my brother and my parents, we are still working, thank
Okay.
God. And
Mm-hmm.
my little sister, she's out of school. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually one of the things that I am quite, I don't want to say worried, but, like
Okay.
it concerns me as far as the education system.
Yeah.
I'm very involved in my alma mater here, my high school,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
it just made me realize how times are really changing. And I hope that the education system here in America
Right.
sees the importance of encouraging an
Right.
advancement rather than sticking to a system that clearly hasn't worked very well for the
Yeah, and
masses.
they're like no child left behind. That's clearly not the motto anymore.
No, no,
It's
no.
lack
And
of it's lack of care. Yeah, lack of motivation. I agree with that.
yeah, and I was speaking to a colleague of mine as far as, his children um going to a, more predominantly well off and white neighborhood. Let's just
Right.
keep it real. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a disconnect in that conversation, because like I was expressing my concern as
Mm-hmm.
far as like, well, my little sister goes to an
Mm-hmm.
LAUSD,
Mm-hmm.
school, and the technology is like ass.
Shoddy.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it can't even compare to those neighborhoods that are more well off.
Right.
And now these students who don't have access to, like, Wi-Fi or
Right.
simple
Right.
technology, or don't even have the knowledge because they've never been exposed to that. It's like they're being asked to learn online classes when they've never been taught that in high school.
Exactly.
you
Don't
know
even know how
it's
to
like,
navigate the
yeah,
laptop. Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's like, okay, now there's a learning curve, and then there's also like the education system having to build like build a bridge. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And it's like five steps back.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
something
like,
that they prepared for to say, well, let's roll this out. It's like they're
yeah.
playing catch up, and the students are
Mhm.
kind of like falling,
Mhm.
by the wayside.
Yeah, and like, like the students are being like, they're suffering, you know what I mean? Like, at least from what I see, like, again, I'm not an educator, or I'm not like
Right.
an important person in the
Right.
educational system, but from my observations, since
Right.
you asked, that's how I'm seeing all this, like, pandemic affect the
Right.
environment, and especially the community that I'm a part of. Like,
Right.
for instance, the wellness space that I'm involved, that I'll give them a shout out because I love them. The Salt Lounge Long Beach.
Okay, how you
Um,
sort down Long Beach?
okay, as as someone that's a part of that community, and I see the changes in people when they go in for like a treatment, for like a salt room treatment, or
Okay,
whether it's Reiki. You know what
right,
I mean? Since the business is asked to, close due to the pandemic, it's
right,
like people don't have that. People are limited to that resource, you know
exactly.
because when people come in there, they ask us for guidance, like, okay, how can I start? Like, I'm having a hard time with this, I just need some guidance and
Yeah,
whatever,
they
whether
need a
it's
remedy.
through.
Yeah, yep,
Exactly. Like, and it's a holistic space, and I feel like a lot more people are being more open to that. But because of this pandemic, physical resources are being limited, and
right,
physical interaction amongst people are being limited.
right,
And you know, yeah, I want to say, for anyone who's having a hard time, just really tuning in within self,
right.
just, I think, asking the question of what would your ideal best friend be like, and really giving
Hmm,
ourselves permission to become that for ourselves. If you're
that's
alone, if
so
you're,
so interesting. You say that. It's so
yeah.
I never, nobody's ever put it into that way of soothing one's soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel like, we're so, as human beings, and I've been guilty of this too. We're so quick to look for whatever we need at the moment from whoever or whatever,
Right,
right? Like, whatever your
right.
vice is, or whoever, your man's, your girl, mom, dad, like whoever
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
provides you, and whatever provides you that comfort, we're always so quick to reach for those things, right?
Right,
And to reach out
exactly.
to those people. But when it comes to times like this, I really truly believe that, you know, um, it's really time to face ourselves.
Yeah,
Like,
it's from within. It's
yeah,
definitely from within. It's a
yeah.
self. It's a bring back to, some people, when you in the rigmarole of just doing and doing and doing every day, you kind of, your soul kind of gets numb to
Hmm.
the true feeling of happiness and
Hmm.
sexuality, creativity, and things like that, because you're just programmed to do that.
Hmm.
Um, the past conversations, a lot of people are purging, self-reflecting, getting rid of things, cleaning up and cleaning out, and that's a telltale sign that you don't take enough time for yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We don't take enough time
Hmm.
for ourselves. So
Hmm.
I like the way you put that into words, because everybody wants to feel what they're lacking, and that changes, every
Hmm.
day. And being able to sit in it and really take it in and do something for yourself, because nobody can make you happy but yourself, is really
Hmm.
deep, really
Absolutely,
deep. Yeah.
absolutely. And it's not by any means easy. It's not, especially if, divine intervention
Hmm.
initiates it for you,
Right.
this
Yeah, like
event,
it's unavoidable, like you have to. Right.
yeah. But yeah, I'd like to be the one to optimistic about this, and
Wait, honey.
you know
Hold on.
I
I'm gonna
think,
need. Wait. Go back to what you said. The train was going by. Go ahead. Repeat what you said, please.
what I was saying was, as realistic as I am,
Right.
in life, I am choosing to look at things from a higher perspective.
Hmm.
Because there's always reason, like there's always a greater reason behind everything,
Right. Right.
whether we'll find out what that is tomorrow, next month,
Right.
next year,
Right.
whatever, but it will all make sense. So,
Yes.
I have definitely, and that's also one way of me, like, letting go of control and letting go of
Hmm.
that that need of security from
Yeah, like
answers,
I
and
gotta
just,
know what's next.
yes,
You know how
Yes,
Tauruses
like,
are. We're like strategic. We're like,
yeah,
okay, so this is
forms
Friday.
first.
Yes, what are we doing next? Like it's like a maze that we already laid out in our head
Yes.
that we can complete so fast. So I definitely get that. I
Yeah,
definitely get that.
it's like, like just really having to trust the unknown
Yeah.
and making sure that I hear myself, that I hear myself out first before I allow external voices in,
Right.
especially in my heart. I think one of the things that I'm actively working on a daily basis is
Hmm.
just, making sure that my mind is at ease and it's at peace,
Yeah.
because I I want to say I was listening to a podcast by one of the spiritual teachers that I,
Right.
follow,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
he mentioned something about,
Hmm.
suicide, trigger warning, to
Okay.
everybody out there.
Hmm.
And he says something like, a woman was found in her room with a note,
Hmm.
after she committed suicide, and she said, my death is no one's fault, it's my mind's fault, because it was my worst enemy. And
Mm.
that was real to me. Like, I was such an overthinker. I like you said, I had to know everything. Like, I had to have a physical mental, like,
Right.
I had to have evidence when it comes
Right.
to everything.
I need logical evidence that this is freaking
Like,
happening. Okay.
logical, intuitive, like everything, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
everything had to make sense to me. There was no such thing as fuck it. Like, let's
Right.
trust the unknown.
Right.
But after hearing that story, I was like, oh shit, that's so true. Because as powerful as our minds are,
Right.
it's just as deadly,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
what are we feeding it? Like, even the music that we listen to, like, sound is such a powerful element that
Right.
not a lot of people realize,
Hmm.
you know?
My dad.
So,
Hmm.
and yeah, just making sure that my mind is at peace and
Yeah.
it's at ease,
Then,
and
then
it
you'll
doesn't,
be ready for whatever. Yeah. If that's the case, you're
yeah.
ready for whatever.
Yeah, and like, I've been writing on my journal lately that I pray for my heart to speak louder than my mind, and for my mind to be more at ease and at peace, because when our minds are on the go, it
Right.
just picks up on everything, even
Yeah.
things that are not real, but it will convince us that it's real.
That
you
is
know
real. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Definitely.
with that, and the cause of that is, like, whether we hurt our loved ones or we really manifest those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't even supposed to be ours. That's
Right.
why
Right.
making my making my space, like my inner space, the number one
Right.
priority, although I am still working.
Right.
It's such, like, I don't play with that anymore,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
seeing what's happening in the world, I'm so grateful that I went through what I went through in New York. I went through what I went through moving back to LA,
Right.
because it was the universe telling me, now you see that you were ahead of the game.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be saying what I'm saying right now if
Yeah. So you
I
were
probably
different.
wouldn't.
You was you so you weren't as centered when you were here, or has this been your path? Is this the path that led you where you were, or this is where you ended up after the path, being so in tune with your well-being and your mind space, and being accountable, with your love and things like that? Is this something was that the thing that brought you to New York, or did that happen more after you left?
I want to say it was a little bit of both. I
Okay.
wasn't this centered. I wasn't this self-aware.
Right.
I was a go-getter, though. I will say
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
I was that friend that always made ways for money. I was
Right.
that friend that always had a job.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have a job, best believe I had another one lined up. You know,
Yeah.
I I want to say what led me here definitely was my soul.
Right.
But it was a part of my soul that fit in with New York, like that hustler part of me. Like now, I'm still a
Right.
hustler. Don't get this
Right.
twisted. But
Right.
I will say that being in New
You
York
working
for,
smarter. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I want to say that
Mm-hmm.
before New York was
Mm-hmm.
fucking Cinderella. Like, like I loved working.
Yo.
I was
Yeah.
like
Yes. Nigga
I
said,
was
first of all, I'm tired.
I
I'm
was
tired. Mm-hmm.
like I loved hustling and I still do, but I was
Right.
definitely wasn't as realistic. I want to say I saw the world through such a rose-colored lens, but
Mm-hmm.
now I don't. You know, like I always want to know the truth, whether
Mm.
it will
Right.
hurt me or please me.
Right.
Because I know at the end that's all that matters, you know.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
New York definitely taught me that, oh, you're gonna love this one.
Ahem.
um,
Ahem.
how do I say this? No. New York taught me that you can't expect people to meet you where you are,
Right.
whether
Right.
that's in relationships, whether that's in business, whether that's in, you know, life period,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
Because we all have our own journeys, and even if whoever is in our life,
Mm-hmm.
they have their own journeys, and we can't expect them to be, just who we want them to be.
Them to be.
And
It's funny you say that, because
that's
most of the
the whole
time what we
concept.
need, right, right. I mean, sorry to cut you off. It's interesting because most of the time when we have a problem with someone, it's lack thereof, right? But when
Mm-hmm.
everything's going great, it's not a problem. It's like when you
Mm-hmm.
feel that you're not getting what you need from an outside source, which we talked about earlier, it makes
Mm-hmm.
you in a tizzy. For you to say that, it shows maturity, as an individual, because you got to take it as a grain of salt. And also you can get mad at something that you don't agree with, but you can agree to disagree. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's your responsibility to check yourself and move the fuck on. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also,
yeah,
taking the time to be accountable of our own actions and our own lives. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
And
yeah,
yeah, New York just really taught me so much that like, one conversation just won't encompass everything that I learned, right? Because until this day, although I'm ready
hmm,
to detach from that part of my
right,
story, from that
right,
chapter, I still constantly get reminded of, oh, remember this? And I'm like, oh, you're right. Okay, maybe not that way. Let me
yeah,
try this way. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
yeah,
just because that's when I really started seeing myself,
right,
and really started just claiming this life, and that
right,
this is for me to live, and it's no one else's responsibility to make myself happy, to fulfill my
right,
needs.
right,
um and if I do
hmm,
want someone to, give me something, whether that's
right,
affection or
right,
whatever the exchange that I'm looking for, that's
right,
for me to, and now I'm learning that, yo, there's really not a lot of people here who fucking ask for what they want, because I meet people and I tell them what I want, or like whatever my intentions are within that conversation,
right,
and I'm always looked at as aggressive, which I can, like, I'll take that. I
Right.
definitely have an
Yeah,
aggressive
that's
direction.
just our demeanor. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like it shows me that not yo, people are so used to the passiveness, you know, and the whole beating around the bush. And I'm just so tired of
Right.
that. And I think that's one of
Right.
the things that I owned about myself in New York,
Right.
although I'm
Right.
always doing my best to improve my delivery
Right.
because I'm learning that not everyone can take that directness, like not
Exactly.
everyone responds well or receives that approach well.
Right.
But there's also times when I don't care, like when I'm
Exactly.
gonna say what I want to say
Right.
because you're not hearing me, and if you can't hear me right now, or I've tried a more gentle approach, then
Right.
like
There's nothing I can
sometimes
do.
I'm yeah, like
Right.
sometimes we're left with no choice but to really unleash that inner, like that inner bull, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that inner
So
cat. Like, oh, that bull. Oh, you want me to hit you with my horns or not? Okay.
head on, baby.
Head on,
So
baby. Okay.
and yeah, and I'm just so, again, like grateful for women like you in my life who remind me to slow down and have fun, because me, I was like, no, I need to get this done for
Yeah.
school. I need to
Yes.
make rent. Like fun was never in my mind
Right.
until Shar got her shit done. There was no such thing as fun for
Right.
me. Fun was like, all right, when I'm done with this creative project, then let me take a trip. But now I'm being called to, like, you know what, I'm allowed to put things down in the
Yeah.
middle of the week and
Yeah.
enjoy a company, like
Right.
like enjoy a friend of mine, or like have a like meet
Mhm.
up with a boo or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you know what
Yeah.
I mean.
Definitely.
And yeah,
Yeah. I totally understand. I mean, it's a never ending journey towards who you see yourself as. And
mhm.
although I'm older and I feel like I've known myself for a while, still navigating and seeing what the best path is has been my thing. And I also been checking myself lately, excuse me, about starting and finishing things. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I want to definitely lead by example. I want to definitely know that I did my very best. And that's why I wanted to also reach out to, I love you, I'm always here. And every time I talk to you, I always learn something. It's always a deep, valuable conversation, and I appreciate that.
Likewise,
Yeah,
mama. Like
definitely.
I really I've always appreciated that when I just get lost in the sauce sometimes, you know what I mean? You always remind me to you always just remind me how much of a fucking boss and like wise young woman that I am, because
Right.
although like when I speak to people,
Yeah.
I don't realize what I be saying like because I just like I just answer questions, and
Yeah.
it's real, like I
Right.
just really say what I feel, and like I make sure that I don't share something that I know I haven't learned,
Exactly. Yeah.
like I know I can only help people with the things that I've learned and with the path that I've walked myself.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, but again, like to even hear like like more mature women like
Hmm.
yourself to tell me that like you're learning from me, like that to me is so flattering, because it's a reminder that no one is too good, too old, or too
Yep.
young to
Yep.
learn, to be a teacher or to be
Yeah.
a
A
student,
student.
you know
Absolutely. 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 I talked to Annie the other day, and she's like, "Oh, we're still looking for someone." You know, I'm like, oh, nobody's gonna be like me and Shar. Sorry, you need somebody that can wear 4 hats and still say hello. You know,
Okay.
and that's how you know. That's how you know you're meant for greatness. To me, you know, when you can bring something, when you're indispensable, whether that's your attitude or your work ethic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I appreciate you and
Mm, thank
tell
you.
before we go, tell them briefly about Shar and Roses, and tell them how you're gonna be changed or renewed after this sense of captivity is over. You know, just tell the people what your passion is and how you're gonna be changed. You know, after this, you know, higher calling of sorts is happen. You know, after it happens.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna have more fun. I'm
Like I'm
definitely
going out first
going.
of all.
Yes, yes, because as like, yeah, again, like no one deprived myself of fun but me.
Right,
So,
right.
that was one of the wake up calls for me. It's like,
Okay.
okay, girl,
Yeah, because
you really need to have
you don't want
fun.
months and years and to go by, and you like fuck like I didn't
Yeah.
party my fucking ass off, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, although I started partying young, like I feel like once I moved to New York, I just saw how serious life is, and like, I
You was
still
like,
haven't
oh
like,
shit,
I was like,
no,
I
we don't got
don't
no
want
time for
to be
that.
that broke again. I don't want to be that broke again. I don't want
Right,
to suffer that much again. So
right,
it just really made me realize, like, your life doesn't have to be so hard,
right.
and that's why you need to be mindful of what you're bringing into your life and what you're
Yeah,
giving and what you're sharing people.
yeah.
Yeah, so definitely more fun,
More fun.
definitely more intentional with my interactions, with
Okay.
my words,
Right.
saying less. That is one thing
Okay.
that I'm also am very proud of lately.
Okay.
I'm seeing myself become more of an observer rather
Okay.
than being in my human body so much that I get
Right.
caught up in the emotions, the
Right.
feelings, the
Right.
thoughts, because
Right.
at the end of the day, this life is, although it is for me to live and
Mm-hmm.
experience it, I didn't make this promise with just me.
Right.
Like, I truly believe that I made a promise with God before coming here, and I have a mission to fulfill. I have things to teach. I have things to learn from
Right.
everyone that I'm meant to encounter in
Right.
this lifetime. Yeah, so just being more mindful and
Yeah.
being more selfless.
Yes, and
I feel
having
like,
more fun and more
yes,
booze and more sex.
yeah,
Okay. Sometimes I
not more
think
booze. I'm
not more.
very
No,
happy.
just more of a boo. You know, more of one
Okay,
boo. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
When
okay,
just
yes.
thinking about our personality and thinking about being more conscious of self and words and things like that, I really think we're just overly sensitive sometimes. Like me as a Taurus, I
Mhm.
come off very strong in my exterior and I mean so well. And today I'm walking outside and I realize I'm like, shit, I'm really sensitive. I'm maybe overly sensitive at times. Maybe some things
Mhm.
I can't brush off my shoulder that I should. So I definitely want to work on that a little bit more.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it like, again, like I was saying earlier, just being mindful of everything without trying to control everything,
Right.
if that makes sense. Because, like,
Yes.
I don't know, like, it's been such a journey for me that, like, to put it in one sentence, that's the best thing I could do, is just be mindful of what you eat, of what you listen to, of what
Right.
you
Be
watch,
mindful.
of
Right.
what you expose yourself. Are you expanding your mind, or are you
Right.
on Instagram scrolling through, somebody's
Yeah.
thirst trap?
Scrolling through
Because
other people's
we
lives.
all love some thirst
Okay.
traps. We all love some
Get
thirst traps, but like, what, like, how are you expanding
Yep.
yourself, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because I hear a lot of people doing the same thing. It's like, okay, you're like on Instagram or
Mm-hmm.
just doing the same shit
Shit.
and
Yep.
staying in, like, just because you're inside or just because you're doing nothing doesn't mean you're relaxing. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes. And doesn't mean you're
Doesn't
bored.
mean
You
you're
know, shouldn't mean that
connecting.
you're bored, right? Or
Yeah,
something like that.
and just because you're by yourself doesn't mean you're really connecting with yourself, you know? You
Yeah.
might be on your, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
I
totally
I
understand.
always tell my little sister, if you want different, you got to do different.
Yeah.
If you want to
Definitely.
commit to something, you got to fully commit, cuz if you
Yeah.
don't, you get half-ass commitment back,
Yeah.
you get half-ass results back, you know.
Yes.
Um
And how old is she?
she is 17.
Okay, 17, prime
Yes.
time. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. God, I know she looks up to you like crazy.
Oh yeah, she does, but she don't listen, and that's okay because she will one day.
Yeah, of course. You know, who listens, okay? Nobody. I
Okay.
mean, again, I want to thank you for taking your time out of this long ass week to converse with me, cutie. I love you. I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna send it to you. And yeah, well,
Yay.
hopefully we won't be here 8 months. But hopefully we'll connect maybe next Friday or next Saturday. And and,
Yes.
and talk some more.
Yes, absolutely. And about Sharn Roses, it definitely started as a blog, but that is on hold right now. So right now,
Hmm.
what I'm focusing on is just growing the journaling workshops and
Hmm.
my poetries and, you know, a
Right.
podcast.
Okay.
I'm such a writer. I write every single day,
Right.
and having a starting the podcast in
Hmm.
replacement of the blog,
Hmm.
it just allows me to, you know, hear myself out because I
Okay.
write, again, I write so much, and I feel like
Hmm.
with writing, I'm getting to a point that it's becoming a comfort zone for me, that
Okay.
I need to hear these thoughts out. You know what I mean? Like I need to hear myself channel. I need to hear myself share or even just release whatever it is that
Got it.
I need to let go. Like just get this out of me. Like it needs
Right.
to come
And
out.
you do a weekly podcast? You do a
I
weekly
don't
podcast?
do weekly podcasts. I don't have a set schedule when it comes to the
Okay.
podcast.
Hmm.
Right now, what I'm doing on the podcast are, you know, spoken word poetries,
Mm.
and
Okay.
that's me reading my poems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And guided meditations.
Okay, perfect. All right, so maybe you allow me to join you and observe you the next time you present yourself to the world. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you staying true to self and
Thank you.
growing into this beautiful
Oh,
wellness being that
thank
not
you.
only centers herself, me when we speak. Shalom. So, how are you gonna spend your weekend?
How am I gonna spend my weekend? That's a great question. Honestly, I just planned on, you know, connecting with some of my friends who flew back home because of this pandemic,
Hmm. Right.
and just making sure my space is good, and you know, get ready for the week ahead. And again,
Okay.
it's that staying ready so I don't have to get ready.
Exactly.
That's
You already
all.
know. All right. So, stay there. I'm gonna stop our recording, and
Okay.
you always know, the slogan. Continue to,
Yes.
okay.
Deeply.
Mwah. I
Love
love you.
you.
Hold
Yeah.
there, stay there, and then I'll text you later, okay? But hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me make sure I got this together. Oh, I'm thinking I'm on my iPad. I'm on my laptop. Hold on, babe. Stop.